Tsaritsyno Museum and Reserve in Moscow was founded in 1984 in the park of the same name. History. The estate is known from the late 16th century, when it belonged to Tsaritsa Irina, sister of Tsar Boris Godunov. At the time it was called Bogorodskoye. In the 17th century it belonged to the Streshnevs and then to the Galitzines. In 1775, the estate was bought by Empress Catherine the Great, who happened to be passing through the area and fell in love with the picturesque beauty of the land. It received its present name, which means Tsaritsas. In 1776–85, architect Vasily Bazhanov built a palace for the Empress there. When the palace was almost complete, the Empress visited Tsaritsyno to inspect it. She declared the rooms to be too cramped and dark, and the palace unlivable. As a result, Catherine ordered the palace to be torn down, and the architect was executed. The remnants of the foundation of Bazhanov's original palace are still visible in the park. In 1786, Matvey Kazakov presented new architectural plans, which were approved by Catherine. Kazakov supervised the construction project until 1796, when the construction was interrupted by Catherine's death. Her successor, Emperor Paul I of Russia, showed no interest in the palace, and the massive structure remained unfinished and abandoned for more than 200 years, until it was completed and extensively reworked in 2005–07. Currently, in Tsaritsyno there are a history and architecture museum, a landscape park with an adjacent forest, an art museum, the Buryailiovo Dendro Park, and a cascade of the Tsaritsyno Ponds. Park. The 18th-century architecture ensemble was built following the order of Catherine II in neo-Gothic style, after projects of the Bazhanov and Kazakov, and it is the only 18th-century architectural ensemble of such dimensions in Russia. Around the palace, in the park, there are a number of pavilions, pergolas, arbors, artificial grottos, decorative bridges, and a Russian Orthodox temple, source of life, as well as a modern recreation center with an upscale restaurant. For a long time most buildings were ruined. In 2005–2007 most buildings were extensively restored and completed. Roofs, interiors and decorations have been added and the historical appearance has been altered. A number of buildings house the Russian Museum of Folk and Applied Art. The atrium of the Bread House is used for concerts of Moscow musicians. The park grounds contain the group of burial mounds that belonged to the early Slavs tribe Vyatiks dated to the 11th–13th century.